Let's do a quick review for our supply test. Which way does a supply curve slope? Let's take a look at it. It's moving upwards from left to right. Sloping up. A stage of production whereby total product increases, but at a decreasing rate. Marginal product begins to decrease as more units of variable input are added. It's definitely not stage 1 because everything continues to increase. Marginal product increases. Stage 3, marginal product becomes negative. This is clearly the wrong answer. Raw materials, no. So we start to run into diminishing returns. So we're still increasing with total product, but at a decreasing rate. So the best answer there is diminishing returns. Additional costs associated by producing one additional unit of a product. Anytime you see talk like this about one more of something, making incremental change, we're talking about marginal changes. So marginal needs to be part of our answer. Therefore, the only one in this particular set that it could be would be cost, marginal costs. The relationship between the quantity of inputs used to make a good and the quantity of output produced. So a relationship. The only one here that describes a relationship, this is a made-up deal here, clearly the wrong answer. Diminishing marginal utility has to do with utility and the benefits we derive from products. Economies of scale we haven't really covered yet. Production function, the only reasonable response, and that's what we studied beginning in the previous section in the stages of production. What is the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied? So we know that the supply curve is upward sloping left to right, and as the price goes up, the quantity supplied goes up. So what kind of a relationship is that? It is a direct relationship, yes. Now when we see this, it's requiring us to click something else. And it is positive, inverse, negative. This was, inverse was demand curve, so it's positive. Direct. As one goes up, the other goes up. Which of the following would not shift the supply curve for iPhone? So we're talking about supply curve either moving to the left or the right. And let's see what we have here. An increase in the price of iPhones. A decrease in the number of sellers, an improvement in technology. An increase in the price of plastics. Oh, right. So here's the deal here. These three would cause a shift of the supply curve, because they don't have anything to do with price. There are other things besides price that are causing movement. So the only one that would not cause a shift in the supply curve would be a change in the price. Price would just cause movement along a single curve. Movement along a single demand curve. That would be caused by a change in price, whereas change in supply occurs when a supply curve moves either to the right, which is an increase in supply, or moves to the left, decrease in supply, and it occurs because of something other than a change in price. You can review your notes and see that. Also, the book gives a good discussion about that. Chapter 5, Section 1, Chapter 5. Time period in which one of the costs is fixed. That would be the short run. The additional amount of money a business receives by selling one more unit of a product. So one more, here we are again. So we're looking for that magical word, marginal. And we have three choices here, but we're receiving money. So it wouldn't be a cost. It's not profit. money we receive for selling something is called revenue. A period of time in which all costs are variable. So over a long period of time, like more than a year, pretty much you can change a lot of things, all the costs. But you need time to do it. If you want to move to a new location, want to buy a new factory, need new equipment on your farm, over a long period of time, these types of costs can be variable. Level of production where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. So this is where an organization would make the most money, where your costs are equal to the revenue. Marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, and that's where you're going to maximize profit, profit-making quantity, no, not output, because we're looking at money here. Profit marginalized, no, I don't know what that means. Profit-making quantity of marginal products, definitely a wrong answer. Profit maximizing quantity of output, yes. The marginal cost curve typically does which of the following? Here's our marginal cost curve, MC. Goes down, reaches some point, and then the costs start to increase. This is our stage 1. And then we start into that stage 2, and then marginal cost starts to increase. Decreases at a decreasing rate, increases at a fixed rate, decreases and eventually increases. Yes. Decrease in the price of labor. What would that do to supply? Well, labor is an input, and if we have lower costs, we would be able to supply more. Costs that change as the quantity of outputs, that should be just output changes. So as we hire more people, our output's going to change. That's a variable cost. The total output produced by 4 units of labor is 25 units, and that of 5 units of labor is 40 units. The marginal product of the 5th unit of labor is. So at 4 we got 25, at 5 we got 40. 40 minus 25 is, how much is that? I think it's 15. Yes, there you go. The amount a firm or a business or an organization receives after all costs have been paid. Profit. Whole point of being in business, hopefully, to make money. The amount a firm receives for the sale of its output. Price times quantity equals, nope, nope, total revenue, yes. The rule stating that in the short run, outputs will change as one input is varied while the others are held constant. Well, we know what the stages of production are. It has to do with marginal product. That's not it. Production function. Possibly. Marginal product, no. Theory of production. Rule, law of variable proportions. One input is varied. Rule, law, variable proportions. I like this one. There you go. At worker 4, what about worker 4? At worker 4, how was the 24 calculated? Worker 4, 24. Marginal product, the increase in total product. 38 to 62, how much is that? Well, you could state that as 62 minus 38, and that would equal 24. Let's see what the choices are. This looks good. Which curve below shows the supply curve? We're looking for something that's upward sloping. That's definitely not upward sloping. That's too steep. That's downward sloping. A. A is upward sloping left to right. The total product of 5 units of labor is 40 units, and that of 6 units of labor is 42 units. The average product of 5 units of labor is... Let's read that again. The total product of 5 units... Okay, so let's say we have 5 people. And they produce total of 40 units. Those 5 people together produce 40 units. And then that of 6 units of labor is 42 units. The average product of 5 units of labor, so we can ignore this 6 units of labor and just focus on 5 units of labor. 40 and 5, and we want to know the average. I say we take the 40 and divide it by those 5 units of labor and see what we get. I would get 8 times 5 is 40. I'm going for this one. There we go. Part divided by the whole. E-business conducted over the internet is generally known as this: e-commerce. Well, these people are involved in e-commerce, but the overall name of it is e-commerce. Commerce, buying and selling stuff. Doing business. Costs that do not change when the quantity of output produced changes. Fixed costs. No change. Stays the same where if we produce nothing, we have fixed costs. If we produce a lot of stuff, we still have the fixed costs. And oftentimes they don't change. The movement from point A to point B represents, well, it's clearly not 4 because the curve is not shifting one way or another. The price is going down as we go from A to B. No, 2 answers are not correct. So the only one that makes sense is a decrease in the quantity supplied. So if we go from A to B, we are decreasing in the quantity supplied from 5 to 2. Gasoline fuel stops like pilots stay open 24 hours a day, which listed below is a reason to help us understand why this is a good idea. Well, we've talked about this. Gasoline station likely going to have some high fixed costs. Your variable costs of your workers, most of them making somewhere around minimum wage, so you can afford to have 1 or 2 people working throughout the night. Wouldn't have to sell that much just to reach a break-even point, and you're probably going to actually make some profit. So high fixed costs, low variable costs, keep the doors open, keep selling. Which of the following describes how marginal product is calculated? Marginal product here. That was the change in total product. Let's see if we have an answer. The change in output is 1 more worker is added. The change in labor when total product, no. The change in total product as marginal product decreases, no. The change in workers as production increases. The change in output is 1 more worker is added. That one makes sense. Add a worker. We have a change in marginal product. We're going with 1 here. Extra cost of producing 1 additional unit of production calculated by dividing the increase in variable cost by the marginal product. We've covered this. That is marginal cost. Phases of production, increasing, decreasing, and negative returns. Marginal product? No. No. Nope. Nope. Stages. Stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Almost done. Couple more. 100 units of output. A firm's total cost at 100 units of output, a firm's total cost is $10,000. If the firm's total fixed cost is $4,000, its average variable cost is equal to, okay, well, let's see here. 100, $10,000, fixed cost is $4,000. So we need to calculate the variable cost. 10,000 minus 4,000 means that our variable cost has to be 6,000. Average variable cost, then, let's take the 6,000. So 10,000 minus 4,000 equals 6,000 divided by 100. I'm feeling $60. A reason why a Walmart store may open 24 hours a day: high fixed cost, low fixed cost, low variable cost, low, high, low variable costs. Once again, minimum wage workers, not that expensive to pay a few of them to stay there and keep the doors open. All right, that'll do it.